What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new video. The final race has finished in Abu Dhabi for F1 in 2023, and in February 2023 I made my predictions for the constructors and the drivers. Some predictions went well, some went badly. If you want to find out how they went, you're going to have to stick around for the rest of the video. We're going to go constructors first, then drivers, although we do have some drivers results in the constructors. We're going to go with where I put them and then their actual results. P10, I put Williams. Of course, they finished P7, but they exceeded my expectations a lot this year. Albon, of course, doing amazing this year, considering what I thought would be a terrible car. Some outstanding performances, especially in Canada with P7 for Alex Albon. P7 again in Monza, and then of course Logan Sargent with his one and only point this season, Austin, P10. But like I was saying, I said I didn't see many improvements, and I thought there would be a lot of pressure on Logan Sargent, which there currently is. I'm still not sure. By this time this video might have gone out, they might have announced it, but I'm not sure if Logan Sargent has got his seat still. But really not much else to say about that. Going on to AlphaTauri though now, P9 I put them. They, of course, did not finish P9. Of course, they actually finished P8, so one position higher. Not terrible for me, but good performances, of course. Was it 4 drivers this season they've gone through? Started off with Nick De Vries and Yuki Tsunoda. Went to Ricciardo. Ricciardo broke his hand, was it, or wrist? Either one. Same bit of the body, really. Went to Lawson. Lawson did an amazing job. Shame that he's not got a drive this year. Maybe next year, though. Let's talk results now. All 4 drivers did quite well, except for Nick De Vries. Yuki Tsunoda getting P8 in Abu Dhabi, that's just gone past. Ricciardo getting P7 in Mexico, and of course Liam Lawson doing very well as a substitute driver in Singapore, and he got P8, or no, P9 even, as well, considering he was just thrown into that car. Very good job from him. Hopefully, like I said, he does get a drive for 2024. But yeah, on to Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo, I said 8th. They actually finished 9th, so those two I just got mixed around. Of course, very underwhelming this season. Considering that there was, well, I thought they were going to be 8th. I thought they were going to do quite well this season. I thought Guan Yu Zhou, surely he's going to have a great season. Bottas as well, but no. Best result for Bottas? Well, P8 twice this season, once in Australia and another time in Qatar. Guan Yu Zhou got P9. Not great. If that's your best result of the season and you're finishing, well, I predicted 8th, you're finishing P9, then that's not very good. Really not much else to say about Alfa Romeo except for very underwhelming season. Right then, moving on to Haas F1 team. I put them at 7th place. They finished 10th, of course. This is probably one of my worst predictions of the season. As soon as they got in the car, qualifying was perfect. But as soon as the race came around, different story. Every single time the car went out onto the track, the tyres just melted. Like, qualifying, okay, cool. Hulkenberg, Q3. How many times does he have to do that? Too many. Yeah. And then as soon as the race comes around, tyres just get wrecked. I think God knows what their best position was this season. Yeah, so of course Magnussen's best position was P10 in Miami, not good, but Hulkenberg's P7 in Australia in that chaotic race. So quite a bad season. Hopefully they can develop the car more, and we can see them fighting for more points in the future, hopefully next season. Time for Alpine though. Very close team actually. I put them 6th. They did actually finish 6th. So first one, is that the first one right? That is the first one right. Okay, here we go. First one right of my predictions. They did very well, of course. Was it 2 podiums this season? Once for Ocon in Monaco and one for Gasly in Zandvoort. That will be their highest positions of the season as well. So very decent season. Of course, finishing behind McLaren, I don't think they could have done much. And Aston Martin, they couldn't have done much there. Of course, Aston Martin's contending for race wins, so with McLaren towards the end of the season. So I don't think Alpine could have done much else. I think they had a very good season, except for crashing into each other in Australia. Aston Martin now, I said P5. They finished P5. Another one correct for me. That is 2 out of 6 as it stands. Of course, Fernando Alonso at the start of the season, so fast in that Aston Martin. Of course, Lance Stroll recovering from his broken hand at the start of the season. So who knows what he could have done if he was fully fit for the first few races. But very good season overall, especially for Fernando Alonso. Not so much for Lance Stroll, especially in Qatar. Great interview, really. Alonso, of course, close to winning a race, but never did. And his best result, P2, multiple times, I think, throughout this season. One in particular, you could probably say, was Canada or Monaco. Yeah. Lance Stroll, though, I don't think he got a single podium this year. His best position was in Australia. Yeah, very underwhelming for him this year. Of course, good car, should have really utilised it a lot more. Moving on to McLaren, I said 4th. They finished 4th after a tough start to the season. Austria, upgrades, beautiful. New car, as soon as that happens, not in Australia, about to say Australia, Austria, but in the homeland of Silverstone. Norris P2 in the beautiful chrome livery. P2 again in Hungary. And then, once more, in Singapore and Japan. Finished P3 in Qatar, P2 in Austin, and once more in Brazil. Piastri, of course, had an amazing rookie season in Qatar, especially. Finished P2 in the full race, P1 in the sprint race, P3 in Japan. He's had an amazing breakthrough season, 91 points from his rookie season, so very good. Hopefully next year they could even challenge Red Bull. I think they might be that one team that might go all the way next year to try challenge Red Bull. But on to Mercedes. Mercedes, well, finished P2. I said P3. So unfortunately, that one whole point that they got over Ferrari, well, kind of ruined my whole predictions, man. Got 2 wrong because of 1 whole point from Mercedes. Well, Ferrari losing a point probably. But good season overall. No race wins, of course, because that was Red Bull. Not really much to say. Hamilton got P3 in Singapore after Russell crashing out, of course, if you remember that. Abu Dhabi, Russell got P3. There's not really much to say about Mercedes except for the terrible zero-pod idea. Oh, sorry, Hamilton finished P2 in Mexico, and of course he did in Austin, but he got disqualified. Next up, Ferrari. I said P2, they finished P3. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was this season, and to quote myself, I said they'll be trading wins with Red Bull. Well, they traded wins once in Singapore. Sainz winning, of course, an amazing race in Singapore with not Verstappen or Perez on the podium. So truly an amazing race. Leclerc, his highest finish was P2 in Austria, but also in Abu Dhabi and in Las Vegas. Of course, Leclerc getting that last lap overtake on Perez in last few corner even overtake on Perez. So, yeah, a good season from the Scuderia, but not amazing. I'm expecting better next season. Red Bull, not much to say. I said first. They finished first. Who would have thought? If you didn't put them first, then you must have been very hopeful. Verstappen absolutely dominating this season. Which race should I choose? He got first place in 19 races. I'm not going to name them all because we might be here a while. But we'll just say Netherlands home race. But in all seriousness, I don't think anyone's ever going to beat that season unless we do have this domination ever again. Hopefully it's not Red Bull. But his teammate Perez, on the other hand, he did win a race in Saudi Arabia and also Azerbaijan. But as soon as that happened and everyone said title fight, P2 in Miami, and then nowhere to be seen until Austria. So yeah, underwhelming for Perez, amazing season, record-breaking for Verstappen, and next season, I wouldn't expect any different. Yeah, onto the drivers' standings now, though, and this is going to be interesting. We're about to head on to the drivers, but first, are you enjoying the video? If so, it would mean a lot if you went down, hit the subscribe button, and the like. Anyways, driver's time. Logan Sargent, I said 20th. You never guess what. He finished 20th. Not an amazing season compared to his teammate Albon, who I think he got about 27 points, but Logan Sargent, just the singular point this season, of course, he has been retained for the rest of the rest of the next season. But will he survive another year? Hopefully he gets better over the year. For him and Williams, if they have a good car next year, then hopefully he will be there. Logan Sargent, though, 20th, I think that was an easy one. Moving on to 19th, though, I said Yuki Tsunoda. It was actually Kevin Magnussen. I didn't see Kevin Magnussen doing that badly. Like, it was dreadful. I did not think, right? Did not think that it would be that bad. That car would be that bad. The fact that the Haas was that bad is quite literally amazing. Tsunoda, of course, didn't have that bad of a season in the end. I thought he would do terribly. 18th, I put Guan Yu Zhou. It was Guan Yu Zhou. So, somehow I predicted Alfa Romeo not to be that good, but I don't think Zhou is really that good, actually, in the end. Compared to his teammate, Valtteri Bottas, he did get, Bottas did do better over a season, of course. But moving on to 17th place, I put Albon. It was actually Ricciardo. Of course, that's not very fair. How could I have seen of Ricciardo coming in? But, not much I can really say there, except for Ricciardo coming in and doing a good job, even though he did break his wrist, I think it was. Albon, I thought the Williams wasn't going to be that good. As you saw through my predictions for the team, I've put them 10th. They actually finished where? 7th. So yeah, not an amazing prediction by me. Very good season from Albon in the end. Multiple points, as I said earlier. But 16th, I put Nick de Vries. It was actually Hulkenberg. Of course, Hulkenberg probably maximising all he could out of that car, I think. Because, well, I didn't see the Haas being that bad. 16th, he got Magnussen, of course, 19th. So he massively outperformed his teammate. Nick de Vries, I put there, not knowing he was going to be absolutely terrible. So that's not fair. There's not really much you can say except for good results. Q3 quite a few times for Hulkenberg, but 15th I put Bottas, and it was Valtteri Bottas. So that is my third one correct. So this is my third one correct. Bottas having a good season, I think. It's not a bad season, but we just don't know how good that car actually was, or is, even. So it's quite hard to say if he had a great season, or him and Zhou just didn't get all they needed to out of that car. Of course, good performances. Quite a few points for Bottas, considering he was able to outscore Hulkenberg, who, well, couldn't really do much. 14th, I said Hulkenberg. It was actually Tsunoda. So, putting Tsunoda down in 19th, of course, I did. But it was actually Hulkenberg. So, yeah, not very good prediction by me. I can't remember if February must have been before. Yeah, it was before testing, so it was quite difficult to predict where the cars were, but, not very good prediction still. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda having an amazing season, especially in the last race in Abu Dhabi. Of course, was it a one-stop, I think he tried, during that race? He did very well this season. He did outperform most teammates that he came against. I'm not sure about the head-to-head, though, with Ricciardo. But on to P13, I put Magnussen. It was Albon. Well, Kevin Magnussen. I'm not sure if he just had a terrible season or that car was as bad as it looked. Although Hulkenberg was able to get into Q3 multiple times, they're both the Haas drivers using different types of cars. Surely that can't happen. How has that happened? How have you got one driver using a better car but failing, but Hulkenberg using the worst car and doing well? Albon, of course, having an amazing season, like I said earlier. He is... I'm not sure if he'll stay at Williams next season, but he's certainly done very well. On to 12th place now, I said Pierre Gasly. It was actually Ocon. Ocon not having an amazing season, although you see where Gasly is. It's literally one position different. So saying Gasly wasn't a bad idea because, of course, new to the team. Ocon has been there for a while, but surprisingly, Gasly's done very well. Of course, Ocon did get a podium, but so did Gasly. Ocon got a podium in Monaco. I can't remember how. I think it was Russell going off the track. Must have been. But, yeah, so other than that, he hasn't really had any other standout performances that comes to mind. But Gasly, of course, I think he's done very well this season, and we'll see what he does next season. On to 11th place, though, I said Lance Stroll, but it was actually Pierre Gasly. Unfortunately, Gasly, one place up would have been right, but yeah. So Stroll, I thought that car's not going to be that fast, surely. I thought, yeah, sure, Aston Martin's going to have some upgrades, but it's not going to be as it was at the start of the season. But Gasly, like I just said, podium in Zandvoort, and now it's just pure pace. Other than that, again, not really any standout performances to talk about, except for some really good drives, I think, in certain races. But he has been his teammate, though, so it's very good, strong message for Gasly at the start, coming into the 2024 season. Going to 10th now, Lance Stroll finished 10th. I said Ocon. Unfortunately, these three, they're all just like 1 position, 2 positions off of where they should have been, so that's annoying for me. But, of course, Stroll, should he be higher up? Probably. When you see where Alonso is, where he's finished 4th place, Stroll should really be higher up, maybe about 7th or 6th place, surely. But really, I don't think he's had a podium the whole season. Of course, he had a great interview in Qatar. I don't know exactly what's happened, but towards the end of the season, his results have been getting better. He has been inside the points more, but that car at the end of the season was starting to fall away. So yeah, not much really to say about Stroll. Ocon, thought he'd have a better season, though, than he did. P9, I put Oscar Piastri. You never guess what? It was Oscar Piastri. Great prediction there. Of course, we didn't know how good that McLaren was. When I was doing my predictions, I heard rumours of McLaren being absolutely terrible. But, of course, amazing season, amazing rookie season from Oscar Piastri. It was absolutely amazing. Win in the sprint race for him in Qatar. And then a podium, I think, what was it, 2nd place? It was 2nd place in Qatar. Then, even before that, he got P3 in Suzuka. So an amazing season for your Oscar Piastri. Of course, I wonder what he'll do next season, considering it's his 2nd season in Formula 1. He's got rid of that, the pressure, really, of the first season rookie. But will he have more pressure on him for next season? He might, due to, well, him being proven already that he's quite good. P8, I said Fernando Alonso. It was actually George Russell. As I said with Stroll, I thought that car was going to be a lot worse than it was at the start of the season. I didn't see Alonso going for P3 immediately in the first 3 races even. Of course, standout performance has to be Monaco and P2. Could have got that race win if they didn't call him in. And Canada also getting P2. Really some amazing drives from Alonso this year. That's why I didn't think he was going to be there. Russell, on the other hand, being in P8, I'm not sure that's all he could have got out of the car. Hamilton, of course, finishing P3, so he could have done more with that car, I think. Russell could have standout performances being in Spain, where he got the P3, and I think that might have been his only podium of the season. He'll probably have one more, but P7, I said Perez. It was actually Carlos Sainz. Perez, I did not think he would have been, well, I don't know why I predict him so low, considering I thought Red Bull were going to be the fastest. But yeah, I put him in 7th place. I didn't think he was going to be that good. But it was actually Carlos Sainz. He, of course, got that win in Singapore. Amazing drive from him. And as soon as he won that race in Singapore, he immediately, in Kota, got another podium for P3 in Austin. So he's had a decent season, although not as close to his teammate as he would have liked. 6th place, I put Lando Norris. It was Lando Norris. Amazing season from him. Multiple podiums, of course. First one being in Silverstone with the P2. Of course, upgrades in Austria. We won't talk about what happened before that because nothing happened. No. Of course, everyone doubted them in Hungary, and immediately Norris P2 again, breaking Max Verstappen's trophy. We won't talk about that. But of course, Norris doing an amazing job. Of course, he was P2 again in Singapore, P2 again in Japan, P2 again in Austin. Just a really good season from Lando Norris. P2 again in Brazil. Very consistent, I would say, throughout the whole season. Except for the start of the season, of course. But yeah, very good season from Lando Norris. P5, I put Hamilton. It was actually Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc having a great season, though. Overall, P2 to round out the final two races, of course, in the season. Apart from that, he didn't really feature on the podium that much, except for Austria. So yeah, not amazing from the Ferraris, really. P5 and P7, although if you look at it from the memories that you have throughout the season, you do remember them being on the podium, especially Carlos Sainz winning. But whoever I put, Hamilton, I didn't think he was going to do as well. I thought the Mercedes were going to be up there, but yeah, you'll see where I put everyone else. Of course, there's only 4 positions left now, so yeah. P4, I put Russell. It was actually Alonso. I thought Russell outperformed Hamilton last season. He's going to do it again. But, of course, he didn't. But moving on to P numero 3. I put Sainz because I thought the Ferrari was going to be great. It was actually Lewis Hamilton, which I'm actually still surprised about. I didn't think he was actually having that great of a season till the final few races when they said, you know what, Hamilton gets second here. Of course, in the end, he did a great job for Mercedes, absolutely destroying his teammate George Russell. So yeah, of course, podiums in Australia and Spain, getting P2 there. Of course, P3 in his home race of Great Britain. But really not much to say, although maybe Hamilton can push for wins maybe next season, depending on how Mercedes do. P2, I said Charles Leclerc. It was actually Sergio Perez. Of course, Leclerc, I thought he was going to have an amazing season. I thought, as I said earlier in the video, I thought they were going to trade wins with Red Bull. That never happened. Perez, of course, lucky, I would say, to get P2 in the end. Because he had, throughout the season, he had terrible results, really. But, of course, the 2 race wins at the start of the season did help him, probably. But apart from that, really not much else to say, except for some terrible form throughout the season. Perez, of course, winning in Azerbaijan and Saudi Arabia. P1, who else would you have put but Max Verstappen? Of course, he won the championship. He won 19 races out of the 22? 23. No, yeah, 22 that happened. Really not much else to say. Of course, amazing, dominant display this season. Of course, winning. Don't know, what race do you want me to say? Zandvoort, home race. Good win for him. But apart from that, he's absolutely wiped the floor of everyone. If you want to see me predict 2024 Drivers' Championship and Constructors, make sure you show some love on this video, and I'll do it. So if you do want to see that, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.